Let's paint a picture. It's, say, March 2026. You've poured your heart and soul into your SaaS product. It looks amazing, but your growth has completely stalled. You're losing deals. But here's the weird part. You never even talked to anyone. And the scariest part? Your product was just evaluated, tested, and flat out rejected. And no human was ever involved in that decision. And this isn't some sci-fi story. This is a real post from a founder. And wow, does it hit home. Spent $40K building an amazing onboarding flow. A competitor launched with zero UI and got acquired for 8M in 8 months. I don't understand this market anymore. I mean, can you feel the frustration? All that time, all that money on a perfect user experience, just bypassed. Because a competitor got one crucial thing right about where the world is headed. And that one thing, that critical thing, leads us to the central question for this entire explainer. What if your next customer isn't human? This is a massive tectonic shift we're all living through. We're moving from a world where we sell software to people to a world where we're selling software directly to other software, to autonomous AI agents. All right, so let's get into it. Here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll face the hard truth about why your SaaS might already be obsolete. Then we'll meet this new customer, the AI agent. We'll talk about how to survive what I call the invisible shelf, and I'll give you a concrete agent-ready API checklist. After that, we'll look at the new infrastructure stack, and finally, we'll talk about your very first move. Think of this as your survival guide to the new business-to-agent world. So, Section 1, your SaaS is already dead. Oof, I know that's harsh, but we have to start here. The very thing that you probably spent the most time on, your beautiful, intuitive, human-friendly design, well, that's quickly becoming your biggest weakness. And why? It's simple. Your new customers literally can't see it. So think about your reality in, say, 2026. Those beautiful gradient buttons you agonized over, an AI agent will never, ever see them. That perfect 12-step onboarding flow you A/B tested to death, agents don't need it. Your killer email nurture sequence, guess what? Agents don't have inboxes. The bottom line is, an AI agent could have evaluated your product, found it confusing from a machine's perspective, and bought from your competitor, all while you were asleep. No human was involved. The best way to think about it is this. Your UI is like a beautiful hand-painted sign in a shop window. A human walks by, they admire it, they're drawn in. But an AI agent, it's like a blindfolded shopper with a barcode scanner. It doesn't care about the sign, it just wants to know, is there a scannable barcode? If not, as far as it's concerned, your store doesn't even exist. Your API, that's the barcode. So who is this new customer, this blindfolded shopper? Well, that brings us to our next section, the rise of the business-to-agent or B2A economy. And I'm not exaggerating when I say this is probably the biggest shift in software since we moved to the cloud. It's changing, well, everything. So what exactly is B2BA? It's an emerging model where your main customer isn't a person, but an autonomous AI agent that's working for a person. Think about it. A human tells their agent, hey, find me the absolute cheapest flight to Tokyo next month, or go renegotiate my horrible cable bill. That agent then goes out, programmatically discovers services, evaluates them, and even purchases them. The whole sales cycle from start to finish happens machine to machine. Now, if you're sitting there thinking, okay, this sounds like something from 2035, think again. Look at this timeline. Just last year, Y Combinator officially listed B2A as a top investment category. This year, giants like Visa, MasterCard, and PayPal are already demoing agent-ready payment APIs. Deloitte is predicting that 3/4 of enterprise digital transformation budgets are going to go toward this stuff. And Gartner, they're saying 40% of all enterprise SaaS spending will be agent-driven by 2030. So this isn't coming, it's already here. Okay, so how do you even compete in this new market? This brings us to a really important idea, surviving the invisible shelf. You know how in a grocery store, the products at eye level on the shelf are the ones that sell the most? Well, in the B2A world, the shelf is completely digital. And like we said, the shopper is a machine. If your product isn't structured in a way that machine can instantly understand, you're not on the bottom shelf. You're not on the shelf at all. You are completely invisible. And this chart just lays it out so clearly. Look at the difference between a human-focused architecture and an agent-focused one. On the left, we have everything we've been taught for years. Beautiful UI, great onboarding, email sequences, a contact sales button. Now look at the right. An agent doesn't care about any of that. It needs a published open API spec. It needs machine-readable error handling, not a friendly email. It needs a way to get an API key without clicking anything. It needs pricing it can read as code, not a pretty web page. To an agent, a contact sales button or a CAPTCHA isn't a step in the process, it's a critical system failure. It's a dead end, and it will immediately move on to your competitor who does have that machine-readable front door. All right, I get it. That's the problem, and it's a big, kind of scary one. So let's stop talking about the why and start talking about the how. Let's get tactical. How do you actually get your product onto that invisible shelf and do it fast? This is your agent-ready API checklist, your quick deployment guide. So here are the 3 quickest wins. These are the things you can do right now that will have the biggest impact. Number 1, publish an OpenAPI 3.0 spec. Seriously, this is non-negotiable. It's not just documentation for humans, it's a universal, machine-readable map of your entire service. It's how an agent automatically discovers what your service can do. Number 2, implement no-click API keys. Think about it. If an agent has to wait for a human to check their email and click a verification link, the entire automation is broken. You need a seamless, programmatic way for an agent to authenticate. And number 3, structure your JSON error responses. A generic error 500 is useless to a machine. It's a dead end. What it needs is a structured response that says, hey, I'm busy right now, try again in 60 seconds. That's what allows an agent to build reliable workflows on top of your service. Okay, so that's how you defend your current business. Now let's switch gears and go on offense. Because for every company that's struggling with this shift, there's a huge opportunity to build the tools, the picks and shovels for this new gold rush. The real money, the big money, might not be in the apps themselves, but in the new infrastructure stack that all these agents are going to need to run on. Just think about the basic needs of an agent. An agent is valuable because it can run 24/7 autonomously. But what does that actually require? Well, first, it needs compute, a server, a VPS, a place to live and think. It needs memory and context, which is where things like vector databases come in. It needs fault tolerance. You can't have a task that takes 3 days just crash halfway through, so you need durable workflow tools. And it needs to talk to other apps, so it needs integration platforms. Every single one of these is a fundamental, high-margin business opportunity in the B2A economy. And this isn't just a game for developers. If you're a marketer or a creator, listen up. The whole economic model is shifting. Look at this comparison. The old play was, writing a blog post about the best AI tool and getting a tiny, maybe $9 a month affiliate commission. The new play is creating a guide on how to deploy a mission-critical agent on a VPS, a virtual private server. That kind of infrastructure carries a much healthier recurring commission, maybe $50 a month or more. The value is shifting from just using the tools to actually deploying the systems. So there you have it. We've covered the threat, we've defined the new B2A model, and we've looked at the massive opportunity. But all this theory doesn't mean a thing without action. It really all boils down to one single critical question that you and your team need to be asking yourselves, like today. And this question apparently comes from a leader at Google Cloud who asked this to a room packed with Y Combinator founders. The question is this: are you building for the users of today or the users of tomorrow? It sounds simple, but it's profound. Are you spending all your time optimizing for the customers you have right now? Or are you getting ready for the new class of customer that is about to completely take over the market? Because, and this is the key, they are not the same user. Because here's the bottom line. The users of tomorrow aren't just humans. They're human plus agent teams, and the agent is the one doing the buying. This, right now, is the equivalent of buying a domain name back in 1995. It's the moment for API-first, agent-ready companies. The window to get in early and become a leader is incredibly small, and it is wide open right now. So please, don't waste it optimizing your onboarding animations.